Welcome to the TPT Podcast Sports Betting Show, where hosts Dustin and Grizzy put their money on the table for this week's best bets.
Welcome back to another edition of Best Bets. We are in week 5 of the week 13 season of the NFL. We are making some more picks this time, and I am with one of the best creators, the host of the TPT podcast. We are here with Jaden Lawler. Why don't you go introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? Y'all know me from the TPT podcast. Obviously, one of our main shows here at TPT. We do the cheap stuff. You guys see me, obviously, on here a lot. But for those of you who just watch Best Bets, you may not see me. I am Jaden. I'm obviously one of the guys you'll see, again, on the Chief podcast. So I'm here today filling in for Grizzy. Yeah, it should be fun time. I got some picks. I'm gonna make you guys some money.
Not if I keep making them money, because I am doing pretty good in my bets. And
Grizzy, you know, he's still making the people money. He's still making a little bit of the people money. Dustin has made me some money. I know that. So now, you know, it's like we're not necessarily going head to head, because I know Grizzy and Nick are going head to head, but they're also just trying to make people money. They're trying to put money in your guys' pocket, and Dustin has done that with people I know. So, you know, I may use some of his picks today, and he may, you know, use some of my picks, because they're going to be that damn good. Dustin, what do you got for your first pick, my man?
all right, with my first pick, we are going to the Steelers and Arizona game against the Cardinals. I think this is probably one of the worst matchups for this week. You know, Kenny Pickett really hasn't been super great this year. And, you know, against the Cardinals, I think this is going to be like his Super Bowl per se. And I think he's going to have higher than 194.5 passing yards against this Arizona defense. It just really isn't that good. And Kenny Pickett also hasn't been that good, but somehow they've won it, you know, as many games as they have. And it's not because of Kenny Pickett, but I think this game is definitely going to be a Kenny Pickett legacy game, especially against the Arizona Cardinals. And I think he's definitely going to go over that mark.
Kenny Pickett. Before I move on to my bets, I kind of like to hear, you know, your bets and Grizzy's bets as I usually listen to the podcast. You guys know sometimes I'm in the background kind of navigating you guys through the show and, you know, trying to get you guys to some of your bets as I listen to them. Kenny Pickett is doo-doo. Let's get that out of the way. If Kenny Pickett, he can maybe go off on this Cardinals team, because they're doo-doo. This Cardinals team, they're I don't know why they keep trying to win games, because if they need to win that first overall pick. Because, yeah, like you said, this could be Kenny Pickett. This needs to be Kenny Pickett's Super Bowl, the way the Pittsburgh Steelers have been playing on offense. So I agree. This has got to be Kenny Pickett's Super Bowl. Absolutely too atrocious. I mean, this game in general to me is just absolutely atrocious. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know why they keep winning games. I don't know how they keep winning games, but they just do. And then you have the Arizona Cardinals, who are just absolutely just piss poor. So this is a game where the Steelers firing Matt Canada should be able to produce some yards. So if you want to take some bets on some yards, maybe over on some of the players for the Steelers, I agree. I would take it. But moving on to my bet, a guy who's been racking up the yards, a guy who's just been lighting it up this year over with the Cheetah, that's Tua Tagovailoa, the man from Hawaii himself. He's going in versus the Washington Commanders. Yes, the Commanders, and not the Redskins on him. And I'm going to have him over on his 277.5 passing yards. And you may say, well, you know, Jaden, the Washington, you know, they play good at times. Well, they play good on offense at times. We know Sam Howell can sling it. He's been slinging it all season long. But why I'm going to take Tua is look at what Dak just did to Washington. Look at what some of these quarterbacks have done versus Washington. Look at Jalen Hurts. I know these guys are the cream of the crop, but the way Tua's been playing, I'm taking him higher on the 277.5 passing yards. And there's really no one on that Washington secondary. It's Boo to Foo. There's really no one that can guard Tyreek Hill. So I'm going to take Tua 277.5 passing yards higher.
All right, passing it off to me. I'm going to go in that same game. I'm going to go with Tua turn the ball over. Sometimes we call him that, but not this year. He's pretty much a MVP candidate. But we're going to go to one of his teammates, Tyreek Hill. I think he's going to have higher than 0.5 rush and receiving touchdown. Now, with that, you can have one of the two. It can be rush or receiving. And Tyreek Hill has been a touchdown machine this year. 10 total touchdowns on the year so far. I mean, that's pretty great. And, there's not a game where he hasn't scored a touchdown, it feels like. And this could definitely be a game where he scores multiple. So I was debating on this being my lock of the week. I mean, Washington's defense has been decent at times. And then with Chase Young and Sweat both leaving, they're major pass rushers. It's kind of taken a step back, and Tyreek Hill has legacy game written all over it. And it's just going to be an easy day for Tua and Tyreek Hill to just make this defense look very pedestrian.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's why I think our bets go hand in hand. I have Tua over on the yards. You have Tyreek over, getting that touchdown. In Washington, they're kind of in that mode where it's kind of like, okay, do we start to sit some more guys and kind of just look for next season and just try to get what pick we can get? We know on offense, they've been able to light it up on offense, but defensively, they just have not been a great team. With even Ron Rivera as a defensive coach, so I like it. I like Tyreek Hill on that one. I'm gonna, it's gonna bring it right back over to me with my bet. You have Devin Singletary. You guys may be going, who? I haven't heard of Devin Singletary's name all season long. Go look at what he's done the last couple of games. Go take a look. Get your binoculars out. Put them on. And go look at what he's done the last couple of games for Houston. Exactly. Get your binoculars on, Dustin. Look at what he's done for Houston. That man has been running the hell out of the ball. I'm going to take him higher on yards. And look at what these running backs have done versus Denver. He's going to go play a team in Denver. People have been able to feast. Running backs have been able to feast on Denver. I know that the Vikings just went and played the Broncos, and they were able to run the ball a good amount. So teams are able to run the ball on Denver. They don't have the best defensive line or the best linebackers. So teams are able to run the ball versus them. That's why I think Devin Singletary is going to be able to slice and dice them. They also have Pat Surtain over there. Sorry, Tank Bell. Sorry, CJ. I don't think you're going to be throwing the ball a lot over there with some of their secondaries. You also have Jeffries. You got Simmons over there. So I'm taking Devin Singletary higher than 57.5 rushing yards. I'm going to just toss it right back over to Dustin.
Yeah, no, I was almost going to go in that same game picking Tank Dell and picking his under for yards because I think he's going to be guarded by Pat Surtain. And that was almost going to be in my slips, but I think I have some pretty good ones here. We're going to go to the Detroit Lions versus the New Orleans Saints, okay? Jared Goff, he's had a spectacular season this year. One of his best seasons just as a pro in general, especially with the Lions. And versus the Saints, I know the Saints have a pretty good defense, but I think he's going to have more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think he's going to at least have 3. That rushing attack really isn't there for touchdowns necessarily. It's great between the 20s, but in that red zone and the goal line situations, they really haven't been able to really be super effective in that area. So I think this is where Jared Goff really has a great game, having 3 passing touchdowns. Maybe they get a couple rushing too, but definitely 2 passing touchdowns for my boy Jared Goff. And, hopefully it's in a loss against the Saints because that's what Vikings fans need. And, as much as I would like that to happen, I don't think it will happen. But, any way that the Vikings can get a win on their bye week, we'll take it.
Dustin is a smart man, folks. Even when he needs his team to go out there and have his team win and have other teams in his division lose, like the Detroit Lions, he's still thinking of the viewers. He's sitting there and he said, I'm going to make you some damn money. No matter what happens, I'm going to make you some money. So I saw this bet. Great minds think alike. I saw this. I said, I don't know. I may take, him over on the touchdowns, but I didn't because I knew you were going to take it because I just felt it. So this one, I took another guy higher on passing touchdowns, over 1.52 passing touchdowns. It's a guy who's pretty good quarterback. He gets critiqued a lot. That's Justin Herbert. And he gets to go play the almighty New England Patriots. Said nobody ever. New England Patriots. And if y'all are going to listen to any bet I have, this maybe should have been my lock of the week. This may, and Dustin, you need to be writing this down as I'm talking. The New England Patriots are so bad. They're so bad. They lost to Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito. So what do you think Justin Herbert's going to do to them? So I'm taking the over on 1.5 passing touchdowns for Justin Herbert. I think he may get 5. I think he could be in the MVP conversation after this game. I mean, the Patriots are dead. I mean, this could be Bill Belichick's last season. So I'm going to stick with my boy Justin Herbert, even though I hate the Chargers, but I got to go with Justin Herbert in this game because the New England Patriots are absolutely dog water.
Yeah, speaking of that game, has Bill Belichick lost his curveball? Like, it has not been great the past, feels like 2-3 seasons. You know, without Tom Brady, without a great offense, you know, he just really hasn't been himself. And he's supposed to be like a defensive guru too, and it just really hasn't been there entirely.
And when you have a guy that's first name is McCorkle Jones, for y'all that don't know, Mac Jones, his full name is McCorkle. You're not winning games with a guy named McCorkle or Bailey Zappi. So that's why I'm taking Justin Herbert in this game, throwing touchdowns. Put it on the bank, baby. Come on. All right, Dustin. Now make some people some money.
All right, we're probably going to one of the most boring games too. You know, we had Pittsburgh, we had Arizona. You know, that's a boring game. But I think Indianapolis at Tennessee will probably be up there as well. We're going with Michael Pittman, higher than 6.5 receptions. Now, Gardner Minshew, we all love Gardner Minshew mania back a couple of years ago. You know, when he filled in for the injured, whatever his face was. Who?
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. Yeah, he came in for Nick Foles. We all love Gardner Minshew, and now he's just one of those journeyman quarterbacks. And I think he's going to get the ball to Michael Pittman quite a bit on this nice, lovely Sunday noon game against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have also fallen apart. I can't name a single player on that defense besides Simmons. It just really isn't terribly good, I should say. You know, you lost Kevin Byard. You really have Simmons on that defense. But yeah, I think Gardner Minshew, that's going to be his only target. That really is his only target on offense. So I think it's pretty easy. You guys got to listen to that. Got to make some money.
Yeah, and I just, you know, I'm glad you kind of have the Titans on here. Because before I continue, I want to talk about these Tennessee Titans. Well, maybe you get sidetracked to some of these bets. But I got to talk about how the Tennessee Titans, before the season, how their fans were in my TikTok live, we're in Dustin TikTok live. For those of you, make sure you go follow Dustin at that Vikings fan. Make sure you go follow me at Jaden's Jerseys on TikTok. Y'all were talking about your Tennessee Titans. You were hyping your Tennessee Titans. And like Dustin just said, they're dog water. They're boo-boo to foo. That's besides the point. We're going to go to my bets. I try to stay calm here on the TBT podcast. We're going to go back to Sam Adam Howell in the nation's capital. There was once a great man named Sam Adams. And Sam Howell is going to be great in this game. I know I just talked about Washington being boo-boo. I know. But Sam Howell is leading the league in passing. Did y'all hear what I just said? He's leading the league in passing. And Jalen Ramsey and all them other fools on the secondary, Javon Hollins, they haven't done much. Look at what Sheet Rice and some of the Chiefs receivers were doing in that first half. Sam Howell's been locked in. You want to talk about a lock of the week? He's been locked in all season. So I'm going to take Sam Howell higher than 264.5 passing yards. Lock that in. It's on my lock of the week. We're going to get to that. But I'm going to take Sam Howell on this Minnesota team. I think they're going to be down a lot in this game. Like Dustin mentioned, like I mentioned, take Sam Howell over on the yards. And if you don't take him over on the yards, your girlfriend will leave you. I can guarantee you that.
All right, man. With that said, we're sticking in the same game as I mentioned before. Derrick Henry, he's been, pretty decent this year. I mean, he had a pretty good couple rushing yard games, 7, over or under the 50-yard mark for rushing. And, it's been okay. And those are against really good defenses. And not saying that Indianapolis is a really good defense, because I really don't know where they rank. But as an interdivision matchup, the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts, I personally think that Derrick Henry is going to have lower than 76.5 rushing and receiving yards combined. I think, when you have those interdivision matchups, they're not the same games as you would, any other game, right? Your opponent knows you more than any other team in the league because you see them twice a year. One at home, one away. We all know this, all right? Unless you're completely new at football, like a lot of people that we know, won't say any names. But I think that they're just going to bottle Derrick Henry up. I feel like it can go one of two ways. It can be a legacy game for Derrick Henry, or it can be what I just picked. And for those of you that have been following Best Bets for the past couple of weeks, you know that when I pick my stuff, I know what I'm talking about. And I think that they are going to bottle Derrick Henry up. And they is the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to surprise a lot of people, and they're probably going to beat the Tennessee Titans. Like we mentioned before, the Titans, the Titans fans too, it just hasn't been good. They should just be quiet for the next 5 games next off season until we really know that they look really good on paper, which will be a while. But like I said before, Derrick Henry lower than 76.5 rushing and receiving.
Because I'm not done ranting about these Titans fans real quick. And some of you guys who are going to see this on TikTok, hi TikTok, y'all suck. Titans stink. Derrick Henry's washed. They should have traded him. And if these Titans fans see it, I hope they do. Y'all Titans fans sat in my live and talked about how y'all were going to win 13 games. Y'all stink. Moving on. I got that out of my system. Patrick Mahomes, top 5 quarterback, maybe of all time, but he ain't this year. He hasn't played great football. He's played pretty good football. He's still probably in the MVP race. I'm a Chiefs fan. You guys, if you watch the TPT podcast, you guys know, obviously, I love my Mahomes. I love the Chiefs. He's going to have lower than 265.5 passing yards. He has hit lower almost every single game this season on his passing yards. Every time we have Grizzy get up here and say, Patrick Mahomes over on his passing yards, and they'll win the game comfortably in Green Bay because they stink too. I like Jordan Love. He's okay, but they stink. Jordan Reed, even though Jaden Reed, whatever his name is, Jaden Reed, nice name. But Patrick Mahomes is going to have a lower on yards. It's going to be a Pacheco game. Take Patrick Mahomes under 265.5 passing yards. He's went lower on almost half of his games this season. Take him lower. Now I'm going to toss it back to Dustin before we get into our locks of the week. Dustin, back to you.
What's funny is before I get to my lock of the week, I was just looking at the Green Bay weather for that game, and it looks like it's supposed to have some snow showers. So we might have a snow game on our hands. And it looks like 7 mile per hour winds, which isn't too bad, but 50% chance of snow showers. So hopefully we get a good snow game, in the frozen tundra. Packers, Chiefs, what more could you want? What more could you want? Back to what we want, and that's the lock of the week. All right, we're going with probably your MVP front runner, at least for quarterbacks, because we know that's a quarterback award now. And we're going with Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. He's going to throw at least one interception in one of the most, I think, best slate of games, or the best game this weekend against the 49ers, at home too.
Big game.
I think Jalen Hurts is going to throw at least one interception, whether that's his fault or not. He's having a great year. But I think he's going to throw at least one interception against that 49ers defense. It's been really, really good, except when they played the Vikings. But, you know, I think that's pretty much a lock of the week. You know, I feel like all of my picks have been pretty much locks. But, you know, there you go. Jalen Hurts, lock of the week, 1 interception.
Before I get to my lock of the week, big game. Eagles fans, listen to me. 49ers are coming in hot. They're coming in hot. They're pissed off about the NFC Championship game. Brock Purdy's arm was all, it ain't this time. They're coming for a vengeance. All right, now let me get to my lock of the week. Enough about the Eagles, enough about the 49ers. The Rice maker, Rashee Rice. You guys have seen him, what he's been doing with the ball in his hands. He's one of the best guys, yards after contact, yards after catch guy in the league. Yak him up. I call him Mr. Yak him up. I'm going to have Rashee Rice a touchdown in this game versus Green Bay. The formula for them last game versus the Las Vegas Raiders was get the ball to Rashee Rice. I think they replicate that formula. Rashee Rice gets another touchdown in the frozen tundra. Let's go, Chiefs. Lock of the week. Lock it in.
All right, guys, with that said, make sure you guys check out Underdog Fantasy. When you guys do sign up, use code ThatVikingsFan. You guys can match your first deposit up to $500. You can fade or do your own picks as well, whether you like mine or Jaden's. Be sure to check us out on TikTok as well, bestbets_11. And we will see you guys in week 14.